सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. Naiṣkarmyasiddhi, third chapter, page 101, verse 19. Bodhrutvam tadvadevasyaः pratyayotpatti hetutah Atmanastu svarupam tat tishtantiva mahibhrutah. Tvampada vachyartha and Tvampada lakshyartha analysis. Sureśvara continuing in this portion. Tvampada vachyartha is secondary self, the mind, and Tvampada lakshyartha is the primary self, the Sakshi Chaitanyam. The secondary self and primary self put together, mixture, performing the Vyavahara. I, the individual, when I interact with the world, I am a mixture of primary self and secondary self. Secondary self, otherwise known as Ahankara. Ahankara and Aham, the Sakshi Chaitanyam, primary self, both are combined and they are doing the Vyavahara. First we have to know this. Then how to objectify the secondary I, how to detach myself from the secondary I, how to objectify it, and how to remain separate from it in spite of combination of Vyavahara. While doing Vyavahara, combination alone, mixture alone doing. In spite of that, I can be separate. I need not be disturbed whatever happening in the secondary I. This is a big task for every mumukshu, sadhaka, the Vedanta student. To say it is easy, but to detach, to objectify the secondary self is not so easy. How to make it easy? Study Naiṣkarmyasiddhi of Sureśvara. You learn how to detach from itself. That's the secondary self. Selfhood and sentiency. Bodhrutvam, sentiency, the awareness. Two separately he is discussing in 18th verse and 19th verse. In 18th verse he said the distinction between the selfhood and sentiency distinction is done in 19th verse. Selfhood distinction between mind and primary self and secondary self, that is Atma and mind, and awareness or sentiency also between mind and Atma, Sakshi Chaitanya. So in the 19th verse, the 18th verse we saw that mind is the perceiver of the world, Atma is the perceiver of the mind. Mind is the perceiver of the world, Atma is the perceiver of the mind. That means Atma is ever the subject, never the perceived object. World is ever the perceived, never the perceiver. Mind alone is perceived from the standpoint of Atma, the primary self. Mind alone is the subject also, perceiver from the standpoint of the world. Then mind is the changing perceiver, Atma is non-changing perceiver. Mind has to undergo a pratyaya, vritti. Even mind to have awareness, it has to undergo the pratyaya is required. Even to be as a perceiver of the world, to aware of itself, mind has to undergo a change. Pratyaya is there, required. Vritti is required. To aware of itself and to aware of the world, mind has to undergo a modification. Whereas Atma, the primary self, I am, Tvampada, Lakshyartha, Aham, without undergoing any change, any modification, I am the perceiver of the mind, I am aware of myself. To aware of myself also I don't require vritti, pratyaya or parinama. To perceive the mind also I don't have any vritti, I don't require any vritti, I need not undergo any change. I means Sakshi Chaitanyam, Lakshyartha I or primary I. By this distinction only you come to know clearly how to sort out, how to separate them intellectually. So mind selfhood and mind awareness, Atma selfhood and Atma awareness. Atma and mind both are having sentiency and selfhood. One is borrowed selfhood, borrowed sentiency. Another is intrinsic sentiency, intrinsic awareness, intrinsic selfhood. Who is having borrowed, who is having intrinsic? You should not interchange. Mind, secondary self, has got borrowed selfhood, borrowed awareness, sentiency. Whereas Atma, I, the consciousness, am, intrinsic selfhood, intrinsic awareness. I need not borrow. Even I lend to the mind. From me only mind borrows sentiency and selfhood. That awareness, I am, that selfhood. So now in this 19th verse, the awareness of the mind and awareness of the Atma difference. Mind has got borrowed sentiency, that is presented. Atma has got intrinsic sentiency. Mind enjoys borrowed sentiency. Atma enjoys its own sentiency. So the awareness, mind to become aware of the world, idam vritti, aham vritti is required. Idam vritti means this thought. Awareness means aham vritti. Aham vritti, idam vritti. World thought and I thought. The mind is aware of itself. It requires aham vritti, I thought. Process is required. Process means modification, thought modification. Aham vritti is one type of thought modification. Idam vritti is another type of thought modification. So Atma awareness is very swarupam. Asyaha bodhrutvam. Look into the 19th verse which I was explaining. The mind awareness and the world awareness of the mind. Mind awareness of itself and world awareness of the mind, pratyaya utpatti hetutaha, is only because of the rise and fall of thought. Atmanaha, to second line, the awareness of Atma is not a process in Atma. The awareness of Atma is not a process in Atma. The awareness of mind is a process in the mind. Aham vritti is a process. But the awareness of Atma is not a process in Atma. It is not an attribute of Atma. Then what is that relationship between Atma and awareness? Atma has got awareness. What type of relation they have got? No relation. There is no relation. Then why two names, awareness and Atma? Atma is awareness, awareness is Atma. There is no any difference. Atma is non-material entity. Material entity alone can have a relationship. Atma is also non-material entity. It is not a material entity like mind. So when you use the perceiver, perception becomes a verb, kriya. Question may come in the mind of a listener. You are telling Atma is not undergoing any change without any process. It observes the mind, it is the witnesser, it is the perceiver of the mind. And you are telling mind is only undergoing change. When you use the word perceiver is a verb. Verb means kriya. Kriya means some change must be there. Either it witness also, it is a verb only. So in the language, you are using the verb and telling no process is required. Suppose a question rises, for that Sureśvara Acharya gave one example, what Śaṅkarācārya gave in Upadesa Sahasri, fire example. Fire burning all the time, that which is, fire is always have that burning nature. Whatever is having always any permanent action. Burning is a permanent action. That permanent action verb cannot be used at all. In any permanent action, that verb cannot be used as a verb, normal verb. Just as the verb used in the case of mountain standing. Mountain is standing permanently. Fire is burning permanently. If at all you take it as standing and burning as verb, when they are permanent action, you should not take it as a verb. You should not take it as a verb. Mountains are also standing still all the time. It is their nature. Burning is the nature of the fire. Standing is the nature of a mountain. So in these cases means fire and mountain, you should not take regular verb meaning, which undergoes a process. That is why in any permanent action, verb cannot be used at all. Standing is not a verb. Since it cannot be a verb, because it is used in a permanent action, therefore it is not a verb. Standing is not a verb. Similarly, when Atma is the witnesser, it is a permanent witnesser, it is a permanent perceiver. It is not, sometimes it is not a perceiver, sometimes it is not a witnesser. That status of witnesshood of Atma is ever there. When mirror is reflecting objects, when mirror reflects the object, all the time. If you keep near the wall side, it reflects the wall. When mirror is not reflecting, all the time it is reflecting. Similarly, Atma also, there is a difference between the awareness of the mind and the awareness of Atma. Awareness of Atma is a permanent witness, perceiving capacity of Atma is ever permanent. There is no change in that. That is the meaning. With this example, Acharya presented mountain example. What is that? Mahibhrutaha. In the sloka, last word. Mahibhrutaha tishtanti iva. That iva word is used. Just as the mountains are standing, Atmanaha tu swarupam, that real nature of Atma, am, mountain standing there, stable like that, just as Atmanaha bodhrutvam swarupam, the nature of Atma, the awareness of Atma is its swarupam, it is nature. Here Atma means primary self. That bodhrutvam, that awareness, its witnesshood, perception, all are like mountains standing. Don't take it as a verb. Now we will go to next verse. Up to here we saw in the last class. Now 20th sloka, introduction. Tayoho kutastha parinaminoho Atma navabodhaha eva sambandha hetuhu na punarvastavaha kaschidapi sambandhaha upapadyata ityaha. Now Sureśvara Acharya is presenting the mixture I and Atma and the Vyavaharika secondary I, Ahankara. Ahankara centric mind, Atma centric, Ahankara centric thought in the mind, Sakshi centric thought in the mind. Both together are functioning. Sakshi, intrinsic thought also in the mind only. Dominant is Sakshi. Aham Brahma Asmi is a vritti. I am the witnesser, I am the Sakshi. that thought rise in the mind only. So ahankara centric while doing vyavahara, as a father, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister. Ahankara centric thought dominant. When I am listening to the class, I am focusing on the Thampada Lakshyartha. I am contemplating. At that time, I am Sakshi. Centric thought in the mind is dominant. So, once I am aware of that, I am Sakshi, and I maintain the Sakshi centric thought. At least while listening to the class, I am not disturbed. Class I am not disturbed, Swamini, but after Purnamada I am disturbed. That time also you carry this same Sakshi centric thought. Dominant. Actually only dominant. No relation with the Ahankara centric thought. Let it be there. Let it be there. It is my Vesham. It is my Vesham. Na me dvesha ragau, na me lobha mohau, mado naiva me naiva masarya bhavaha. That line you have to remember. So these vrittis, all sympathy, empathy, emotions, all of them are witnessed by me. Witnessed by me. I am the witnesser. So all fictions happening in the mind. That this idea, Sureśvara Acharya, borrowing from Upadesa Sahasra of Śaṅkarācārya, the moment I remember my higher nature, life is an entertainment. Even the tragedy happening in the movie is also an entertainment. Villain is chasing the heroine and the hero is also running behind the villain. Okay, then it is entertainment or tragedy? Tragedy come entertainment. This example you have to remember. Sita Devi going to the forest in the movie, and all are crying. Then it is a movie, and also it is an entertainment, it is a tragedy also, but you are not affected by that. Similarly, life is also so many. Life is also another movie. Swamiji jocularly says, Movati iti movie. Movie is that which moves the person. Moves or not. When we are seeing the serial, we forget everything. What a concentration, what an attention. In serial time, you forget everything. You absorb in that movie dialogues, scenes. So much absorption. You become one with that. Everyone. What is their favorite movie, favorite serial? How it is happening? Even though you absorbed in that, you are watching and you know that you are different from that. Same way, the whole life is also a movie. I am the Veshi, the Atma, the Vesham body-mind complex. Vesham cannot disturb me. Therefore, be as a best actress and actors. I am the best actress and actor, like that you should say. Not cinema actors and cine actresses and actors. Vedantin is a life actor or actresses. The best actor na Gnani. You be a Gnani, you are the best actor and actresses. Now look into the portion. Tayoho. The self behind the mind, the secondary self and the primary self of those two. It is Tayoho. Of those two, they are all ultimately together, not intimately together. Ultimately also together, but they are not together. But a jnani, even they are together, intimately, jnani knows this intimacy is only like marriage water. Rajju sarpavat. Even though both are intimately together, kūtastha parinaminoho. Tayoho means kūtastha parinaminoho tayoho. Of those two, primary self and that is and changing self. Primary self non-changing. Here parinami means changing secondary self. Mind. Changing mind. That's why Acharya used the word parinami. Parinaminaha. Atma anavabodhaha eva sambandha hetu. Their relation, when people talk about the relation of primary self and secondary self, they talk about their relation, sambandha, only because of Atma anavabodhaha, because of self-ignorance. Atma means self, anavabodha means ignorance. Avabodha means knowledge, jnanam. Anavabodha means ignorance. Because of sheer ignorance of primary self and secondary self, anavabodha eva, alone, eva sambandha hetuhu, reason for sambandha. There is no any other relation, real relation. The people talk about relation of primary I and secondary I, mind and aham and ahankara. Why we are not able to separate both of them? Because we have identification. I am, non, I and mine. I and mine. I am is common to everyone. Aham vritti, that is Atma only. But idam shariram kaunteya ha kshetramityabhidhiyate. This is kshetram, idam, all this whatever around you, the family members, all of them, you are mixing aham idam. Ahamidam mamidam naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha. I am and this is mine. Adhyasa. I am is same in everyone. There is no difference. Whenever we say I am, in this I am, if I take I am primary self, no problem. If I take I am as secondary self, and as real, my ness also real. Listen carefully here. Whenever we use all ajnanis and jnanis, all of them use I am, non, I am. But while doing vyavahara, ahankara, I am alone is functioning. It has to function. Pure aham cannot function. It cannot. It is avyavaharyam. Vyavahara can be done by only secondary I. Let it do. What is my job as a Vedantic student? I have to remember that I am a Vedantic student. I am a NAISHKARMYASIDDHI student. I know I am the primary self. I am using the secondary self, blessing the ahankara, secondary self, to interact with the world, to make this body to survive. As I am doing the action, I should remember at least 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%. If I remember, fine. You cannot avoid vyavahara. Nobody can sit without doing anything. Jnani also does. But I am the primary I, aham, is real. The Ahankara, the Vesham is unreal. Parinami, Aham mind, is unreal. This Bodha is there, you never talk about the relation. Relation between Atma and Anatma. What is the relation between rope and rope snake? If you talk about Atma and mind relation, it is just like talking rope and rope snake relation. Can you talk about rope and rope snake relation? No. Can you talk about silver and shell relation? No. Can you talk about marriage, water and sand relation? No. Then how can you say there is a relation between Atma and mind? Primary self and secondary self. Sakshi Chaitanyam, primary self, and mind, Ahankara, secondary self. How can you talk about the relation? You can talk only when there is Anavabodha. When you do not know, all non-Naishkarmyasiddhi students, all non-Vedantic people, they talk. Why? Atma Anavabodha. Even members of your family, those who are not listening to the class, they cannot understand. You cannot go and teach them. Primary self, secondary self. You cannot talk just like that. Primary self, secondary self, to understand, you have to study minimum 10 years. 2 words to understand. Minimum knowledge of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Prakarana Granthas required. Don't expect people to understand other members in the family. Don't struggle too much. So, alone to alone, all alone. We have come alone, we have to go alone, and in the middle also when you are studying, your realm of thinking is different, other people's realm of thinking is different. Therefore, keep quiet, calmly do your job, studying, understanding. Say goodbye to the world. This is intelligent way of living. Why people like this? Why that person is like this person is like that? Everybody is having their own samskara, their capacity, their vasanas, their own karmas. Everybody has come on their own way. They are all in the process. Don't waste your time thinking about other members in the family. Everybody has to work for their moksha on their own. Look into the portion. Atma anavabodha eva sambandha hetuhu. You can apply punya, papa, sambandha hetu. Punya, papa, you are connecting to yourself. Body is mithya, mind is mithya, and you are talking about punya, papa again, even after studying Naiṣkarmya-siddhi also. That happens. It's not easy. And janma, also they are talking. Hetuhu. Really speaking, na punaha vastavaha kaschidapi sambandha. Vastavaha. In reality, if you inquire into its nature, really speaking, is there any relation? Kaschidapi sambandha. No relation at all. It is only a vesham. The person who is acting, putting the vesham, what is the relation between that actor and that actor's vesham? Vesham, temporary. It is a temporary vesham, it cannot disturb him really. Takes crores and crores of money and go away. Comes in a vague, costliest car and put makeup and put the dress and all. And we all mesmerized by that vesham and action and all. He himself goes to the green room and clean the face and all, go away. I am Atma also like that only. Have come in this body and putting this vesham, interacting with the world, and after completing this, just close the kick the bucket. Okay. sambandha na upapadyate iti aha. It is not possible. Therefore, he gives that examples in the next shloka to explain this alone. Aha. Sureśvara says, I am going to explain no substance, no attribute connection. Shloka number 20. Now we can, this is introduction to 20th verse, finished. Samyak samshayamithyatyaihi, sorry, mithyatvaih buddhireveyam vibhajyate, sorry, dhireveyam vibhajyate hanopadanatamisha mohadadhyasyate drishau. The first line, samyak samshaya mithyatvaih dhihi eva iyam. And so many words are there. Now look into the verse. Sureśvara talking about hana, adana, upadana, taking and dropping. Some actions. He gives nice example here. How this mind has got different fluctuations. Right knowledge, wrong knowledge, doubtful knowledge. Look into the first line. Iyam dhihi. Dhihi means buddhihi. Dhihi is strilingam. Iyam also is strilingam. Iyam makarantaha. Makarantaha strilinga. This is fully taken from Upadesa Sahasri, that shloka in 18th chapter it comes. Samyak samshaya mithyatau pratyaya vyabhicharinaha ekena avagatihi steshu bhedastu pratyayarpitaha is the shloka of Upadesa Sahasri. Those words almost bodily lifted here in this verse by Sureśvara. Iyam vibhajyate dhihi. Vibhajyate means visheshyate, influenced by. The mind, this mind is influenced by what? It is influenced by samyak jnanam, samshaya jnanam and mithya jnanam. Samyak jnanam means right knowledge. Right knowledge. Makarantaha idam shabdaha. Iyam strilingam, that also. Idam shabdaha. That intellect is influenced by the right knowledge, samyak jnanam, which is the effect of sattvika vritti. Sattvika vritti dwara samyak jnanam, right knowledge. Number 2, samshaya jnanam. Jnanam you have to supply. Samshaya jnanam because of rajasika vritti. Rajasa vritti. All these are because of those gunas. How do you know? Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Right knowledge is born out of sattvic vritti. Then mithya jnanam because of tamasa vritti. Mithya jnanam tamasa vritti. Dihi eva iyam vibhajyate. Mind alone is influenced by right knowledge, wrong knowledge and doubtful knowledge. What you have to take, what you have to drop. Right knowledge you have to take. Samshaya Jnanam, you have to clear your doubts and drop your wrong knowledge. Samshayatma vinashyati. A doubting person, doubting Thomas, they say, a doubting person can never be peaceful. Therefore, don't entertain always doubts. So, doubts to be dropped, wrong knowledge to be dropped, doubtful knowledge to be dropped, hanam, and wrong knowledge to be dropped. Second line, hanopādānatāṁ amīṣāṁ. Amīṣāṁ means of these, all these three, samyak jnanam, right knowledge, wrong knowledge, and doubtful knowledge, they all hana upādānatāṁ amīṣāṁ. They happen only in the mind. You can drop doubtful knowledge. Hana means dropping. Prakāśaṁca pravrittiṁca mohamevaca pandava. Prakāśa is because of sattva guna. Where is that from that sloka? Bhagavad Gita. Prakāśaṁca sattva guna. Pravritti because of rajoguna. Moham because of tamoguna. So prakāśaṁca pravrittiṁca, like that here also. Hana upādānatāṁ amīṣāṁ. This dropping and taking. Upadana means taking. Hana means dropping. In Lalita Sahasranama, there is a nama. Hanopadana varjita. Heyopadana varjita. Heya means dropping. Upadana means taking. That is Lakshartha. Atma nature. Hana upadanatam amīṣāṁ. Amīṣāṁ means samyak jnana, samshaya jnana, mithya jnana. They all belong to, either you can take samyak jnanam taking, samshaya jnanam hanam dropping, and mithya jnanam also dropping. Mohat adhyasyate drishau. They are only happening in the mind. Three different types of knowledge. All jnanam only. But all are happening only, taking and dropping, all happening in the mind, but they are superimposed. They are superimposed upon Atma. Drishau means Sakshi Chaitanya. Sakshi Chaitanya Atmani Drishau. Drik Drishau Drishi. Drishau is Saptami Vibhakti. Amīṣāṁ is also Sakarantaha Napumsakalingaha. Idam Shabdaha Shashti Vibhakti. Adas Shabdaha Sakarantaha. Sorry. Adas Shabdaha Napumsakalingaha Amīṣāṁ Shashti Vibhakti Bahuvachanam. Drishi also here Strilinga. Saptami Vibhakti. Saptami Vibhakti. Atma Chaitanyam ityartha. Ikarantaha Drishi Shabdaha. Mohat, because of delusion, adhyasyate, superimposed. They are superimposed. Sakshi, Chaitanya, Atmani, they are all imposed. That is why how they are imposed. I am that knowledge. I have this knowledge. I have confusion. I am confused, they say. I am confused. That means what? You are superimposing the confusion of the mind upon yourself. What you have to say or what you have to understand, my mind is confused. I am not confused. That I am is belong to primary I. But you never remember that you are the primary I. But what your utterance of the word, I am confused. I am sad. I am is primary I or secondary I? Primary I. The sadness, confusion can never belong to primary I. But I am is the primary I. Sadness and confusion belong to the primary I or secondary I? Ahankara, mind. Secondary I. Why you are superimposing that confusion and sadness of the mind upon I am sad, I am confused? You are mixing up and messing up and struggling day and night to come out of that conflict. Sort out separately dukkha vritti, raga vritti, dvesha vritti, bhaya vritti. All these are happening in the mind. I am afraid of. I am afraid of. I am is primary I. Atma is abhayam pratishtham vindate. Atma can never have fear. That's why watch the fear of the mind. Mind is having fear. Same way all emotions, all problems, all complaints keep in the mind itself. Distance it. Because it is false anyhow. Don't worry about it. So therefore Bhagavan also having attachment intrinsically, everybody has to suffer. Therefore what? Detach, neighborization. Go to the next verse. Stop superimposition. Atyartha. Kutaha kūtasthatma-siddhihi iti chet yataha. Now, how this kūtastha is unchanging? It is self-established. You said awareness is intrinsic. It doesn't require any help, any change. It doesn't borrow anything. Why? How it is self-established? How is it possible? Kutaha? Why? How? Kūtastha Atma, the Sakshi, Siddhihi. How we can accomplish this? What is that? How do you know the changeless Sakshi is there? Changeless Sakshi is there, changing mind is there. You are talking. How do you know there is a changeless Sakshi? Suppose you ask, I will tell you. Chet yataha, because kūtastha atma siddhihi. Changeless. Kūtastha means changeless. Atma means self. Sakshi. Siddhihi we can establish. Iti. If that doubt or any question comes, we can answer. Shloka 21. Nahanam hanamatrena nodayopi yatayatah tatsiddhi syattu taddhine hanadana vidharmake. When body is hale and healthy, it is wonderful. Below 50 years, it is very nice to enjoy. It is an asset. It is an asset. New house is also an asset. When the house becomes very old and old, it is dilapidated condition, it becomes a liability. Very, very difficult. I want to quit this house. Like that we feel. Even body also like that. As the old age comes, people when they are very old, why Bhagavan still keeping me in this body? Why can't Bhagavan take me? That sentence won't come at the age of 20, 30, 40, up to 50, 60 also. At the age of 85, 95, people question. That means what? Same body which was an asset previously, now it is a liability. It happens. It's a body nature. Body nature. That Swamiji jocularly says, this Ahankara, I-centric, Sakshi-centric and Ahankara-centric thoughts, when they come, you have to subjugate the Ahankara thought. Sakshi-centric thought should come to the top surface. Like in marriage, when they are tying that thali, that priest will ask, Gurukul will ask, Gatti Madam, and he shows the hand like this, Gatti Madam, Adi and Artham. Why Gatti Madam that time? Gatti Madam is for not to hear any inauspicious nearby, any people crying or sneezing or any type of amangala varta should not enter at the time of that muhurtam. So what that Gurukul says, Gatti Madam. People do not know why they are asking for Gatti Madam. And that Vajyar, the person who is playing that Nadaswaram and the dole also, he also knows that. And the Kai Gatti Madam, he played very loudly. And people all become alert at that time, and you can't hear any sound of around any amangalam sound. Suppose any death happens anywhere, any bad news or anybody, like that, whatever happens, it should not enter the ears of the people at that time. That's why Gatti Madam. And they are tying that thali. That boy is tying the thali to the girl. Muhurtam, that is called muhurtam. Like that, Nanna example. Like that, whenever Ahankara problems come to surface, physical level, mental level, emotional level, financial level, so many are there. Like amangalams, all negative, so many things are there. In Ahankara level, body, mind, world level, umpteen complaints will be there. But Sakshi level, free. That's the Gatti Madam. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Sakshi Chaitanyam. I am not the body mind complex. The more and more it is like a Gatti Madam, it comes. All those Ahankara thoughts, mind, emotions, all whatever disturbing me, they all subjugate. They cannot be predominant. They will subjugate. Nice example. Very easy to say, Swamini. Worth to practice. Look into the sloka. Hana matrena na hanam siddhi. Na hanam bhavati. The witness appear with the emotions also, without emotions also. I am the witnesser of emotions. Emotions are not the emotion means thought vritti. He can take here mithya jnanam, samshaya jnanam, all of them. So jnani, he is very much aware of hana matrena hanam na bhavati. Because of the departure of the hanam means hana matrena means because of the departure of the thought. What is departure of thought? Mithya jnanam, samshaya jnanam. Jnana means a vritti, jnana vritti. Departure of hana means departure of hana. What you have to give up? You don't want to give up right knowledge, wrong knowledge and doubtful knowledge. Depart, because that is the example here, that's why we are taking that. Because of the departure of the thought, that doesn't prove the departure of the Sakshi Chaitanyam. Na hanam bhavati. Sakshinaha hanam na bhavati. So, emotions, these thoughts will come and go. Arrival of and departure of thoughts does not prove the arrival and departure of the Sakshi. Na udayaha api iyata yataha. Iyata means that is a grammatical word. Iyan, iyanto, iyantaha. By this alone it cannot be proved. Iyata is a very technical word. What it means, as many emotions are there in the mind, so many sakshis cannot be there. No? As many emotions, Atma witnessing the each emotion, can you say each emotion has got one sakshi? No. Different emotions are there, but sakshi is one. There cannot be many sakshis. Witness number 1, witnesser number 2, witnesser number 3. That is not possible. That sakshi arrival and departure doesn't happen. Mithyagnanam arrival, Mithyagnanam departure will happen. Samshayajnanam arrival and Samshayajnanam departure happens. Samyajnanam taking, not dropping. Don't drop the Samyajnanam. Okay, arrival of Samyajnanam will not disprove or prove the Sakshi. Departure of Sakshi, arrival of Sakshi doesn't happen. That is the idea. Departure is proved by non-departed Sakshi. Departure proved by the non-departure Sakshi. Every departure presupposes non-departing witness. This is the idea in the whole sloka. Every departure. Mithyagnanam went away. Who knows that? I know. Doubt has gone. Who knows? I only know. And I am there, that Mithyagnanam goes away. I also go away along with Mithyagnanam. No. That is the idea. Every departure presupposes non-departing witness. Every departure means every departure of every emotion, every vritti, every thought. Mithyagnanam is a vritti. Samshayajnanam is a vritti. They depart. They go away. How do you know? Who is the witnesser? I am the witnesser. My confusions have gone, Swamini, after coming to the class. I have got knowledge, you are telling. That means who knows? You only know. So you are the witnesser of the departure of confusion. You are the witnesser of the departure of your own ignorance. Correct? Therefore, arrival is not proved by arrival entity, arrival only. Departure is not proved by departed entity. Arrival is not proved by arrival entity, arrived entity. Departure is not proved by departed entity. Then departed and arrival both are proved by non-departed, non-arrival Sakshi Chaitanyam. Is there Podma confusion? Okay. So, arrived and departure both are proved by non-arrived and non-departed Sakshi Chaitanyam. That is the idea. So what? Hanamatrena atmani na hanam bhavati anvaya vitrek. By dropping doubtful knowledge, by dropping false knowledge, Atma Chaitanya Rupa Sakshi, there is no harm. There is no harm because Atma is alone is the seeing, witnessing the arrival and departure. Udaya means birth, rise of right knowledge. You cannot say Sakshi also arise and depart. Just as the Mithya Jnanam departed, Samshaya Jnanam departed, therefore Sakshi also departed, you cannot say. Samyak Jnanam arrived, therefore Sakshi arrived, you cannot say. The arrival of Samyak Jnanam, right knowledge, is the departure of Samshaya Jnanam and Mithya Jnanam, all are witnessed by Sakshi Chaitanyam. Tat siddhi, Atmani tat siddhi. Sattvika Rajasa Tamasa Vritti, tat means Sattvika Rajasa Tamasa Vritti. Sattvika Vritti is what? Sattvika Vritti is Samyak Jnanam. Rajasa Vritti, Mithya Jnanam, Samshaya Jnanam. Tamasa Vritti, Mithya Jnanam. All these tat siddhi syat Atmani, because of Sakshi Chaitanyam alone, they are all proved. Their presence, their arrival, and the departure. And the second half of the second line we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.